Yo, what's up?
Yo, dude, did you get all the footage for next week?
Yeah, for the moon phase.
Yeah, intro, outro, macro.
Yeah, I got all of it.
All right. Well, I guess we're ahead of schedule.
Sweet.
All right, so I'll call you later tonight about the podcast, and then we have a few t-shirt designs coming up, but I guess I'll kind of take it easy today.
Right on.
All right, man. Well, I'll call you tonight.
All right, sounds good, dude.
All right, later, bro.
All right, peace.
Who am I kidding? We don't take days off around here, and it's probably for the best, because if I don't get the watch talk out on camera with you, then I feel the need to bring it home, talking Connie's ears off about all these different watches, and ooh, I think I found this dive watch that's making me fall back in love with divers, because remember, a couple years ago I was really into chronographs, but now I'm super into divers again. I don't know, is it weird? Because divers are kind of really common, and I don't want to be that guy that only collects divers again, and blah, 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 blah. And why are you crying? So enough of that, and then she ends up getting the inevitable headache, and the entire night is ruined. So it's probably best if you and I just keep the watch talk amongst each other. And today, I'm very excited because we're going to be talking about one of the most prolific, one of the most important battery-powered watches ever. And thanks to my channel members, I'm fortunate enough to have one here in the office in my hot little hands. I am talking about the Bulova Accutron Spaceview Caliber 214. I've heard of it being referred to as proto spring drive because of how smooth that second hand sweeps. It is a crazy watch. You know, this watch actually came out just before the quartz crisis, so we shouldn't appreciate where quartz watches are today if we ignore what Bulova has done with the tuning fork watches. And this Spaceview is just one of the coolest. It's absolutely a blast from the past. Let's take a look. It is 1:25 p.m. Let's get down to business. Also, real quick, guys, I wanted to bring something up. Last time I wore a black-red tie-dye shirt on camera, people made a bunch of jokes. Oh, what's on your shirt? It looks like you got a haircut and you left all the hair on your shirt. There's two things wrong with that, okay? The first thing, it's black tie-dye. Have you heard of it? It's called fashion, sweetie. Okay, look it up. The second thing, I don't have any hair to cut anymore, okay? So there, I bet you feel stupid. Oh God, no, wait, no, don't look at me. But real quick, I'm not sponsored at all, but I spent a bunch of money getting every Inuyasha shirt that Hypeland came out with. I understand, I am a weeb. This is one of my waifus, Kikyo. Connie's cool with it. Actually kind of looks like Connie. Long black hair. Super cute. Let's just get into the episode. I'm embarrassing myself enough. Here it is in all its glory, the Accutron Spaceview Cal 214. This one specifically is an N2, circa early 1960s. And again, let's close in on that second hand, because that's truly the moneymaker here. That's what everyone wants to talk about. Yes, you can see all the internals from the front, but that second hand, let's get a closer look. So you might be asking yourself what you get when you mix a 360 Hertz steel tuning fork, electromagnets, a battery, a transistor oscillator circuit, a US railroad certification, meaning that this is accurate to 1 minute a month or 2 seconds a day. Well, you get an incredible feat of engineering known as the Caliber 214. Now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. When I think of looking at a watch's internals, I'm used to high finishing, jewels, mainsprings, different cutouts perhaps of a open heart or skeletonized watch utilizing these mechanical parts. This looks like an electrician schematic, okay? This looks like the inside of a robot. There's no real high finishing, there's no dual finishing or brushed edges, polished edges, until we look at the case. The case has, finishing, but the internals here, it's just very foreign to most watch collectors. And by all means, that is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that this totally broke the mold of watchmaking, especially at the time. I mean, this came out in the early 60s. Okay, that's insane. The quartz crisis didn't happen for like a decade after that. So Bulova, with their Accutrons, were really ahead of the game, and I think a lot of people overlook that. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, we shouldn't appreciate our quartz watches without also acknowledging some of these early electric watches, especially these tuning fork ones. It's just insane. Now, there's definite splashes of color here, obviously the main theme being green, but you see some wires here, and a tasteful splash of yellow, some raw metal. Heck yeah, bro, raw metal, dude! Yo, if you're interested in a death metal time teller t-shirt, the witching hour, celebrating the spookiest of hours, 3 a.m. Go ahead, check out the TimeTellerShop.com. We have a bunch of monthly t-shirt designs. My current favorite is the Retro Fighter Time Teller t-shirt. I'm super excited about that. We actually just released it. We've already, I think, sold out of one color. So guys, please jump on those while they're in stock because they are so fun. And if you don't like any of these designs, just wait next month because we come out with a new t-shirt every single month. What I'm trying to get in focus for you guys, which is kind of proving to be difficult here, is the markers and the signage, not on the dial, not on the chapter ring, on the crystal itself. Okay, this is another very interesting design language that is kind of seen as modern. Like a lot of modern watchmakers, when they're out there, I know Panerai recently did this within the last couple years. People freak out whenever a modern watchmaker adds the markers and signage on the crystal. Ooh, that's so new and funky. Well, actually, watchmakers have been doing it for a very, very long time. I mean, again, here's a vintage watch from the 60s that has the markers, indexes, font, all on the crystal. Crazy design language. I absolutely love it. It's just another quirk about this already incredibly quirky watch. As we zoom out here, we can take a look at the dimensions: 34.6 millimeter case diameter, a 40.7 millimeter lug to lug, and this thing is 12.2 millimeters thick. I think that's also most of which coming from that highly domed acrylic crystal. 10 karat gold filled bezel. Guys, all these dimensions perfectly fine, well within that 40 millimeter sweet spot. I mean, we take a look at the case diameter alone, that's well below 40 millimeters, and the lug to lug is almost 40 millimeters on the button, only 0.7 millimeters above that. And honestly, 12.2 millimeters thick, that's not thick enough to be super duper cumbersome. I've worn this on my wrist already, but let's go ahead, throw it on the wrist so you guys can see kind of what it might look like on yours. Okie dokie, take a look at this watch. For reference, I have a 7.5-inch wrist, super duper hairy as we can see. You'd be surprised how many upset people are in the comment sections writing to me about how offensively hairy my wrists are, when I never thought I was all that hairy, but whatever. Anyway, this watch wears very, very well on the wrist. Again, dare I say, feels almost like an oyster case. I mean, when I have this on my wrist, it kind of just reminds me of my Date 1500, which is sitting at 34 millimeters as well. So, feels very vintage, feels solid, doesn't feel cumbersome or heavy, but also doesn't feel cheap or like super duper light. It just feels proper on the wrist. Now, there's been something that you've not seen the entire episode that might be confusing you, and what is not being seen is a crown, right? The case doesn't accommodate any crown, so what the heck is going on? Oh, take a look at that crystal, guys. Insane. Distortion, and then you get the markers above it. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Well, the crown is actually back here on the case back. That's right. So to set the time, you're actually going to take your fingernail, lift up this little handle, and as we can see here, just going to rotate that around. How crazy is that? Very, very novel. Again, when you first pick up this watch, you don't really think about the crown, but then the more you handle it, you're like, wait a minute, I don't see a crown anywhere. And then you look back here and you're like, okay, this is definitely for a battery, but what is this? And then this is obviously how you would set the time. So yeah, very, very cool, very different, and you'd be surprised how little you miss a crown when it's not there. So there you have it, guys, a quick review of a very prolific, very horologically significant battery-powered watch. We are not snobs here. This doesn't need to have a rotor or a micro rotor or multiple rotors. Doesn't need to have a mechanical tourbillon or a moon phase or a power reserve indicator. No, we can, it's cool. Just throw a battery in it. This is obviously incredibly more complicated than just a battery-powered watch. Again, highly, highly accurate. Got a US railroad certification at the time, accurate to 1 minute a month or 2 seconds a day. I don't know about you, but that is definitely good enough for me. Now guys, if you go online and you type in Bulova Accutron, you're gonna see a bunch of really ugly modern ones because in, typical watchmaker fashion, Bulova is trying to bring them back. None of them are as charming as this one, however. You gotta be careful when you buy them because there's a lot that are in not great condition that are trying to be sold for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So just do your research, be smart. If you need help finding one, you can write to me on Instagram. You can talk to a bunch of people in my members group. They're super duper knowledgeable as well. If you want to tap into that resource, please join the channel membership. $4.99 a month. You get access to that members only Discord chat and you get some extra content over there as well. Hope you're enjoying these little reviews, guys. As you can see, we're doing some different things here. We got some new equipment and we're just trying it out, and I'm just having a blast. Thank you so much to Bad Matt, certified T3 bot, for again sending me a watch, a very, very interesting watch, the Bulova Accutron Spaceview. Again, vintage, futuristic, retro futuristic, just incredible. Not something you see every day, not something that I have in my collection. I don't have anything similar to this in my collection, so maybe we gotta change that. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it.